Hey there Internet, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a look at a trick suggested in the comments of one of our previous videos. So for Augustus Green 7881, we're going to do Mill's Mess. So what is Mill's Mess? Mill's Mess is a trick attributed to the American juggler Steve Mills, who unfortunately passed away recently, so rest in peace Steve, and thanks for the trick. It's one of these milestone tricks for a lot of new jugglers, as it involves combining a bunch of different throws in a kind of alternating pattern where your hands kind of weave back and forth, crossing and uncrossing, and yeah, it's got a really cool visual, and it is a definite first step on mixing up this kind of traditional kind of hands on either side, balls moving. You know, maybe you've learned some tricks here, maybe you've done a bit of half shower or something. You know, Mill's Mess really does have this crazy visual to it where the hands and arms really do something different. Prerequisites then. So there are a couple of tricks that I think are going to be prerequisites for learning Mill's Mess. First of all is having a really solid cascade. I think you're really going to struggle to learn Mill's Mess without having your cascade super solid. The next one is reverse cascade. Having this really solid is going to be great because all of the Mill's throws kind of do the same thing as reverse cascade does, where the throw starts on the outside of your body and kind of comes in towards the center line. Lastly, not super necessary to have this one solid, but having a goal at the windmill is also going to be really useful. This whole being able to throw underarm here, and they all kind of come across in the same direction. Really going to be helpful for Mills. Even better if you have both directions of windmill. That is going to make learning Mills actually really quite easy for you. Breaking it down then. So Mill's Mess has 3 distinct throws that cycle in order to make up the pattern, which means that we can break the trick down into 3 separate balls. Starting with ball 1, the red ball, we're going to have our hands crossed here. The ball is in the top hand. What's going to happen is when we throw the ball, it's going to come out over here towards the center line of your body, and at the same time we're going to uncross and then recross our hands the other way around. So for me it would be my left hand is now on top, so right hand's on top to start with, we uncross and then recross, so the left hand is on top, and the ball is caught once again by the top hand. So going with it, it looks like this. And each time I am trying to pay attention to throwing from the outside of my body in towards that center line. Ball 2 is going to be the green one, and that's going to be basically the same throw as from our reverse cascade, except the catch is going to be a little bit different. So we start with our hands uncrossed and open here at the sides. It's going to throw over and into the center, and then we're going to catch it crossed on the other side, and that's crossed with the bottom hand. So throw from the outside, caught underhand, and again we're trying to keep the same kind of figure 8 pattern here. So ball number 3, we're going to use the white ball, and it is going to be thrown underarm, but remembering still to come from the outside of your body towards the center. And it's going to be caught while the hands are kind of open, and then same on the other side, boom. And really trying to pay attention here to that one coming from the outside in towards the center. A lot of people, when they start specifically with this ball as well, it kind of ends up going up in this straight line on the outside. And you can make this work for Mills. It technically is the same trick. However, the really nice visual of it kind of disappears. So at the start, just really try and think about that ball coming from the outside towards the center. So now we can move on to 2 balls and starting to combine some of these throws and put the pattern together. So we're going to take ball 1 and ball 2 and put those together first. Starting with our hands crossed on top, ball 1 is going to throw over as we uncross. Ball 2, when we get to this point on the outside, is also going to throw. We're going to have caught ball 1, boom, with the empty hand that is just released ball 2, and then ball 2 is going to catch underarm there, and that resets us to the next side. So let's try that once real slow. We're going to go 1, dum, dum. And then we're ready, as you can see, for the next side. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And at this point, it is again really important, once you've got the order of the throws, to think about the positioning of them. So you want them coming from the outside of your body in towards that center line and following the figure of 8. And so ball 1 is going to lead, and you can see that ball 2 here is just kind of following along behind it. A lot of people, when they start this exercise, will kind of do it more as like these kind of like columns. And you see they kind of don't do the figure 8 thing, they kind of do like almost straight up and down. This is one to steer away from at the start, because you just get into bad habits, and it's better not to develop them in the first place than try and deal with correcting them later. Once we're feeling comfortable with that, we can also then combine ball 2 and 3 together. So again, we're going to start in position for ball 2 on the open side here. We're going to throw ball 2 over. We're going to come under, throw ball 3, which we're going to then catch ball 2 with that hand that's just become open, and back. So it looks something like this. One thing to pay attention to here is that you are making sure when you're doing your catch of ball 2 that it is happening underarm. A lot of people here do this kind of weird thing. It's a very common issue where like they kind of almost pull the hand that's just made ball 2 throw kind of out of the way, so they don't end up catching underarm. They still do the underarm throw of ball 3, and so it kind of looks something like this. This is wrong. What you really need to make sure you're doing here is catching underarm, making sure ball 2 is going to be caught while the arms are crossed, and uncrossing again to catch ball 3. And with all the other throws and exercises, trying to pay attention to that kind of figure 8 sort of shape, and the balls being thrown from the outside towards the center line. Combining it all together. So now that we've done a bunch of the 2-ball exercises, we can go and start putting all 3 balls together and see how that goes. So to start with, I like to start in this cross-arm position with 2 balls in my hand that is on top. That is ball 1 and ball 3. Ball 2 is going to be in the other hand. We're going to start here in this cross position. And to begin with, as with all juggling tricks, I don't think catching all of the balls is the most important thing here. The most important thing is getting all 3 of the throws nice. Because if your throws are good, catches are easy, and you're going to learn quicker. So don't worry about catching them, just concentrate on doing the throws properly here. Okay, so to start with, we're going to go here, and we're going to uncross, and it's going to go 1, 2, 3. And we're just going to let all 3 of them drop. Trying to catch them this time. And it's going to go 1, 2, 3. And you see, it kind of sets us up quite nicely actually for the next side. And again, we're really trying to watch those coming from the outside towards the center of the body, so they all travel in that same direction. So once you've got this running, where you can go from side to side and then back again, with the collect in between each side. What we're going to have to do is try and link the two sides together. That is the fourth throw. So this is probably one of the tougher parts of learning this pattern, but with a bit of patience and a bit of perseverance, you will push through. So the one to think about is really getting that fourth throw to launch first. Again, like previously, catching it is not the most important thing, so we're just trying to make sure that we get that fourth throw out in the correct position. And then, as with all kind of juggling patterns, I think it is good to just build it up in small stages. So once you've got 4 throws comfortable, you need to make sure you're starting it from both sides. Is also good because, you know, everything from both sides. And then try and work your way to a 5th. Just trying to keep all the balls in the right order is kind of strange. But you know, it gets there. And eventually you'll be able to do 6, which is your 2 sides of it. And so once you've got 6, that sets you up really nicely to be able to practice both sides with the swap over. And then obviously the other side as well. After you get past this, you are running Mill's mess, and it's just a case of keeping it going and getting more consistent. Troubleshooting. So I find there are 2 main issues that people have with Mill's mess to start with. First of all, it is that underarm catch with ball 2. We kind of talked about it a little bit when we were doing the 2-ball exercises, but yeah, with 3 balls, a lot of people really struggle to start with catching ball 2 in the underarm throw, and they end up with something like this. And you see I'm kind of pulling my hand after it catches ball 1, the red one, out of the way. And so I'm not letting the green ball be caught underarm, and it's being caught open on the side. And it kind of has like a little bit of that like Mill's kind of feeling still, but unlike this, you see the green is being caught underarm. You really get that open and cross kind of thing. The best way to sort this issue is go back to the 2-ball exercises. Same with everything. Just go back to the 2-ball exercises, get them really comfortable so you just don't even need to think about it, and it's going to make the 3 much easier. The next common issue that people tend to have is to do with the visual of the pattern. So when they start out, they're going to end up with a trick that looks kind of like this. And you see the red is kind of doing the like into the center. The green is mostly doing the figure of 8, but the white ball here is just kind of doing this column underneath. And it kind of looks a bit weird. The red as well isn't really doing the figure of 8. It's kind of doing this like N-shaped arc over the top. Mainly though, it is to do with the 3rd ball, the white one that is doing this kind of straight column underneath. Because if it comes across, instantly everything looks a little bit nicer. So again, that is just go back to the 2-ball exercises and really concentrate on making that throw underarm come across and into the center rather than just going straight up and down. So hey, there we go. That is our tutorial for Mill's mess today. I hope you found this one useful. And yeah, let us know in the comments if there are tutorials you want us to do in the future, because this video here came from a comment on a previous one, so maybe you'll get the trick you want next. Who knows? But until next time, have a nice one, and I'll see you later.